what do you foresee for the Black and brown communities to really take advantage and get ahead of it, like yourself with tech? How do you think people can take advantage of it and get in front of it?
I think we absolutely have to lean into tech because it's, especially in the Black community, because if not, we're going to get left behind. You have to lean into that type of culture. I think over the next 4 years, I think AI in itself, you just got to be responsible with it. I always say, in anything that we build a fan base, I always say you got to take it to heaven before you take it to hell. So you got to understand, like, you actually take it to hell before you take it to heaven. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. So you got to understand, like, what are the worst things that we could do when we build this? Like, how can people abuse this in ways, and trying to figure out ways to understand, because people.
Yeah.
They're going to do all sorts of
Hmm.
things. And so there's a responsibility to understand the impact that AI can have and the things that it can be dangerous, but the amazing amount of things that it can do by way of just problem solving and healthcare and things like that. So I think there's a responsibility to do that. I expect that, AI, especially with the popularity and the market potential and monetization and revenue potential, that is going to be something that everybody's going to have to use AI. It's like AI is, you're going to have AI as part of you, like you have fingerprints. It's just going to be part of what you do as a human being
Hmm.
moving forward. And so I think they'll find ways to maximize off capitalizing that in a way.
Do you think, in your opinion, do you think there's a lot of unnecessary government spending and just foolish ways that the federal government has been handling its finance? Because you just mentioned a project. I think I was reading this. There was like a $6 million study to capture your butt print on a toilet seat. What a foolish thing to to research, right? And if that's so, is there more? Like, for example, the Department of Agriculture, they discovered that 6% of the office space for the Department of Agriculture is really used. Could seat 4,700 people, but only 464 people are actually there. So 90, 95, 96% of it is just wasted. Where do you like? What would you like to see if they find uh, unnecessary government spending in certain areas and it's just wasteful? Where would you like to see some of that money being redirected?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are happening in America. I think infrastructure for one, and I
Like
think that
roads and highways and
yeah,
hospitals and
and
schools. Okay.
on top of that, and then I mean, we have a homelessness issue in this country
Yeah, for sure.
that I think we need to address as well. And I figure, there's a lot of, and I think people don't understand sometimes why money is spent the way that it is, but it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of wasteful spending sometimes, I think, in these areas. And so if that money can be allocated to help people that really need it in ways, but I'm not in charge of what, how they're going to decide to use their money. And I think the current administration has set forth an agenda that they're very specific about, and I think they'll stick to that plan. So
Okay.
I don't know how that will affect people of color, people like me, but I know that they're going to stick to their plan, and whether that government spending, those cuts, will go towards helping every American or just specific Americans, that's yet to be seen.
Well, I'll tell you this: where I'm from in Chicago, people are applauding the fact that illegal immigration, something being said about it, because illegal immigration has been taking away jobs and opportunities and money from people that are actually citizens of our country and actually paying taxes. Um,
Hmm.
Now, when you're looking at talk about raising money, capital, you're a tech entrepreneur, right? And my viewers on my show are either aspiring entrepreneurs or they're going from $1 million company to a $10 million company to a $100 million company, et cetera. What areas of fiscal spending for a CEO, especially when it comes to tech? Where is that money? Where do you smartly invest that money into the infrastructure of your particular company? Not the infrastructure of our company we were talking previously, but infrastructure, operations. Where does one smartly, if one's going to grow today like you have, where are people smartly investing money with inside the company?
Well, for us, I mean, I think it's given us longevity. We have a phenomenal CFO, and I love the fact that we stay true to who we are. If what we spend does not affect retention, growth, or revenue, we just don't do it. And a lot of times in tech companies, when you get capital, you want to look amazing. You want the office to look nice. You want to throw parties. You want it to make everything look larger than life. But for us, we're just honest in the fact that that doesn't help fan base grow. What helps fan base grow is community.
Yep.
And with community, you got to have retention. You
Yeah.
got to have user
Yep.
growth. You got to have revenue. And it takes a lot longer to build community in that way. So for us, I think sticking to the core of what really makes your business sustainable is what you should do. Don't fall into the traps of, well, we might have to throw a lavish party or we might have to sponsor an event, because the realistic answer is, I think now in development costs or things like that. So if someone says, hey, Isaac, there's an opportunity to sponsor a dinner at All-Star Weekend. Okay. How much? $50,000. Okay. Well, how many people are going to attend? It's just going to be 12 people, but they're going to be celebrities. Okay. $50,000 is like enough to have 2 or 3 developers for an entire year that I can
Wow.
speed up the development of something. So the decisions are easy to make. It's a no, because it's not that $50,000 might get us some looks, but it's not going to affect the bottom line of what we're building as a company. So when you're really spending your capital and doing what you need to do, I think you stick to what's really going to continue to give your platform longevity. And it's given us longevity from other platforms that have raised 3 or 4 times as much money as we've raised. There's been platforms that have raised 35, 40, 45, $50 million, and they're out of business in 18 months because they threw the parties. They didn't really stick to the thing about really, making sure that they were focusing on what gives the platform sustainability, and they burn through cash, and we don't do that.
Got it. Hey, man, I've downloaded Fanbase. I posted my first one, so I'm looking forward to this migration happening to myself.
I'm a big inside, money